Good morning. It's Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock, and here's I am, Norma for Norma Talks. Some of you know that I've been having difficulty with my arm, and talk about being a one hand paper hanger. Well, my father was a paper hanger when I was very young, which means they don't do that much paper hanging. And then in the old days, they used to glue everything and stick it to the wall. And many a time I've helped him here and there when I was young, long time ago. But to try and live your life one handed is very interesting. My elbow's much better, but yesterday I went and found a long scarf and I made myself a sling. And that made it even easier, better, and much more comfortable until I get to this morning. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So hopefully it'll keep on improving and getting better. The swelling's gone from my hand and all sorts of other things that have been happening. Today, as I was contemplating what am I going to talk about today, it reminded me how I really had to learn the difference between thinking and speaking. When you have a thought, you can change it. Actually, you can change it very easily. But when you speak a word, it has sound associated with it. The sound that cannot be changed unless it's a mathematical equation, I think. It's equal or greater in volume. But still, and the more volume and the more oomph, the more whatever you have and what you say is more difficult to shift and transform. That's why people who are not aware of what they're saying and are angry a lot or speak out of turn, or like me, my mouth runs away with me a lot, is that you have to really watch what you're saying, because that vibration goes in there and that becomes part of your vibration. So where do we start with that is with thought. And in the tarot, my dear companion of life for many, many, many years, the suit of the wands displays this. And as you go through looking and learning the journey of the wands, because they all connect, is that you begin to be aware of the importance of your thinking. Now, mostly I'm aware and I'm pretty good, but not always. Habit, you get sloppy, you forget, you just don't bother, and you don't correct yourself. And I'm going to tell you the correction first. And that is this: when you have a thought that you don't want. Now, my clients all know this because I go on and on about this. I call it freeze, evaporate, replace. You have a thought that you do not want. You freeze it in your mind, you evaporate it. You just, take an eraser kind of thing, and then you replace it with what you do want. Because the availability for us to do that is there. Once you have spoken it, it's not the same. It's gone. The vibration is out. So yes, thought is a vibration. It's very, very important. So we're going to go through the deck of the wands. Sorry, I'm squiggling on my chair here a little bit. Just want to make sure my arm stays comfortable here, because I don't have my homemade sling up. This is the beginning of the wands journey, the Ace of Wands. You have a thought. Now, I'm trying to do this with two hands a little bit, but it's difficult. So in this picture, you have a wand, one hand coming out. You have a few things flying down here, but you have the river of life, which is what we live on, and the castle of dreams. In other words, what the goal is. Now, in this, if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, there are 8 yards of leaves falling, and that is the strength card. So if you're having a thought, you have the strength to be able to be available to it. We create new thoughts from many different places. We're inspired, we're just contemplating, and then this thought comes in that's very different. Sometimes we have thoughts out of nowhere. It's like, where did that come from? What does that relate to? Who knows? Now, I'm lucky, being developed as a working psychic. My livelihood is on that, because I do get these impressions. In fact, I had a fascinating vision in one of my readings this week when the Seven of Swords all of a sudden turned into these old, rusty, old swords. And it was like, wow. Usually I just get impressions, but this one's visual. And so, it's like that's part of it. So you learn how to utilize that into your speech and into your direction of what you're wanting to say. But the key is, what do you do when you have a thought? When the thinking comes in, what do you do with it? And that's where I'm real. And I use this technique of freeze, evaporate, replace, because I'm like everybody else. I don't always have thoughts that are going to support who I am, what I am, or where I'm heading, or what my goals are. It's always important to know what your goals are as to where you're going. But you will have odd thoughts that come in sometimes. And often they can be from other people, especially if you're out in a crowd. You will often have another thought come in because, there are like little squiggles going all over the place, and thought forms are there. And if they have any kind of connection to you, sometimes they will attach and you'll make it your own, and it's not yours. And I'm always aware of that when I'm out and about, is that I'm in my own thought pattern, not someone else's. And often when I'm in a mall, I will often notice, and I've spoken about this before when I've been in and around jewelry counters, perfume counters in particular. I'll go, oh, there's some stealing thought forms around here. So I break them up and disperse of them. So stores don't realize how much I've done that over the years to help, because I know people have phoned me and said, why would I think I'm shop stealing? I've never stolen anything. And I said, that's because you've walked into a thought form. Our thoughts create little bubbles, and if they can grow bigger or they can dissipate. But if you've got any energy behind a thought, the thought bubble will be out there for sure. So it's like we want your thoughts to be the way you want. So you have the thought, and excuse me, I'm just gonna have a little sip of water in those lips of mine. Then comes number 2. I'm gonna see where the best place is. Hold that there. Number 2 is contemplation of the thought. Now you're in your fortress and you're looking out. You've got your left hand on a thought form that is not solid. So, but the other one is the first one. So now that's solid. Now you're contemplating, what do I do with this? And it's a lovely scene. There's lots of things in here. But what we want to look at is, when we're contemplating a thought, is it effective? Is it in the direction of where we want to go? And this is a very important stage of anything, is that balance that you need to find. Do you want to proceed with this thought? Is this thought that you're having? I was talking to someone who's contemplating taking some months off down into Mexico, not so much the summer, but in the fall. And, that's what they're doing. They're contemplating that. Would that be best? Well, they're asking me how that would work for them, but they're contemplating, do I go? Do I go in faith? So it's not that you're turning your back on the other wand. That could be, and you're looking in a new direction, but it could be that, okay, I've got this idea, and now let me think about it. Is it really what I want? Is it going to get me to where I want to go? Am I going to achieve what I want to achieve? And if you look very closely at the man in his right hand, he's holding the world. There's a saying, the world is your oyster. What is it you're wanting to produce? I don't think today that people are taught enough the importance of their thinking power. Somehow we're expected just to go along with whatever. But sometimes it's to stop and think about, is this what I really want? Is this where I really want to go? Is this what I want to achieve? And so what begins to happen with that is that you now, and this is the 3, you're projecting the thought out. Now you start to do something. And if you can't see in the whole symbol, but there's 3 boats out there going out. You set everything out. And he's still got his hand on his main thought, and he's got his other 2 right behind him. So it's very balanced. It's like, in a way, it's kind of like and I often use this when I'm teaching about this symbol. It's like the merchant used to send out his ships out to Middle Ages, of course, we're looking at, out to go, say, to China, taking his goods. And now he would hope that they'd be able to travel all these sea miles, go through all the storms, and they would get there. So there's a lot of hope in this, but it's like, I call it projecting out your thoughts. You're projecting them out. This is the end result I want. I'm here, but I want that result over there. And that result comes in the form achievement. And those are the 4 easy states. You have the thought, you contemplate the thought, you project the thought, you receive the rewards of the thought. The goal is achieved. The rewards come in. I think of planning a party, no, my birthday's a few months away, but Easter's coming. So Easter. Um, so a friend phones, well, it looks like everyone's going to be busy. So there's just you and me. What do you want to do? What do you want to eat? How do you want to be? Because she usually cooks the dinners. And so you contemplate. And so you plan. And this is the reward. Come Easter in a couple of weekends from now, we'll be having a nice dinner somewhere, probably at home at her place, because she does do a great job. So, like, that's all the end, the completion. Is that the end? No. That's what we want. 1, 2, 3, 4. Idea, contemplate it, project it, achieve it, or see the rewards of it. But this is what usually happens. What we call here is the 5. Look at all the scramble. This is the fighting. This is and if you know anything about numerology, 5 energy is very active and really wants just it goes and goes and goes. And people who have 5 birth paths are always starting new projects and doing different things, going here, going there. Scattered would be a good word for, and my name begins with an N, which is a 5. And yeah, I like to think I've tamed that over the years. But it's when you've got it in your mind, and hold it. I got the wrong side. This side here, thought is there. There's the main thought. But look at the other 4, all jumbled up, all fighting. Some people have boots on. Some people have a shoe and a boot. Some people are holding their wand with 1 hand. Some people hold it with 2 hands. This is when your ideas get scrambled. You forget your goal. There's all this going on. And you know something? What happens when we begin to get a plan? Excuse me again. When we get a plan, very often we share it with people, correct? I mean, that's what we do with our friends. That's what they're there for. I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think about that? Or, that kind of thing goes on. So they get input. But what happens with the input very often is because they're not you, they're very often diverse or changed or scrambled. So what happens? It throws you off your base of where you're wanting. And that's where you learn a little bit about discretion. Like, yeah, that fits that would be that person's response or that person's idea. That what happens though is that inside your mind is that all of a sudden you don't know where to put things. They're losing their groundedness. They're losing their vision. They're losing that. That is a very unsettling point. And when you're contemplating laying out your strategies, when you're looking at what you're wanting to create and do, know that you need to make sure you're grounded and you have the end goal in sight. It doesn't matter the in between. That you'll work step by step, as we will see. But you need to have your end goal in sight. What is it you're really wanting? Now, sometimes goals, when you're studying forward, will deviate. You will move into a different pattern. And the end result may not be exactly what you want, but to believe me, it'll be better. But if you just flow, but very often when the mind gets in there, it doesn't flow. But the reality is you want it to. This is what the 6, when it says victory is assured, they have the victory in the head, the laurel wreath of victory in your head, on the goal that you're going. But look how, I just want to show you something. This is what I love about this step. Here's the 5 all scrambled, right? Now, here comes 6. What's happened to the scrambledness? It's become organized. And the 5 now are all following the main goal. They're following it. You're on track. You're heading in the right direction. Are you there yet? No, you're not there yet, but you're in the right direction. Your mind, your thinking is in alignment for the goal. Because that's always the thing is where are we heading? Where are we going? Easter dinner, when, where, what time, how, all those things. Lots of things. Organization, but planning right ahead, no deviation. But are we ever found that when you get close to a goal, that all of a sudden you begin to feel insecure, unsure, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, maybe it's not the right time, all that. Number 7 shows us that. It's just like then all the opposition comes up. It can be inside opposition, it can be outside opposition. Opposing the thought patterning of where, what, when, and how. The need to know and be secure in your goal, in your thoughts, in your awareness. This is a good time to think about, is this mine? Is it taking on someone else's? Somebody comes sometimes, and I have to agree, it happens. Someone's come along with a great idea that you can add to yours. But mostly it's about your own inner insecurity. Own inner security. To allow yourself to feel, okay, I'm strong. Now he's on top of the hill, but if you can't see because of my fingers, there he's got one shoe and one boot. So it's a little unsettled. And then everything is opposing. So he's opposing that. You know, we can get so committed to a goal or to a thought patterning that we actually undermine ourselves instead of trust and faith and letting go and knowing things will occur or not occur. It's like we get caught up in the Mr. Number 7 of insecurity, uncertainty. Now, the one thing I love about the tarot and reading and the way when they created this particular deck in the philosophical way is that it always shows you the other side. This is the 8. 8 we know is balance. It's a powerful number. We're in an 8 year right now for this whole year, which is balancing your spirituality, your philosophy with your material world together, putting all that to making that work in an effective way. And here is your ideas all coming to land. They haven't landed yet, but they're all there. The castle of dreams, which we saw in the first card, is now reappearing. You're close. You're very close. And you just allow that all to come on in and work in the way that we want. Now comes number 9. Now, it's interesting when you think that if we've achieved a goal, if the goal is there, why are we defending it? Why are we protecting it? Now, all those 8 wands are landed. It's there. But what is this person? He's got a bandage around his head. Okay, you could say, well, he fought to get here. But he uses the last 9th wand to defend. He's defending his ideas. And that often happens when you create something. People say, oh, good for you. Way to go. That sounds great. Then you go to do it. You go create it. And guess what? The criticism comes. The jealousy comes. The uncertainty comes. So it makes you uncertain. Did I do the right thing? Was it the best thing to do? Maybe I could have added this or done that or do the other. Stay true to what you want because your own sense of self will tell you, this is what I want. So be comfortable and relaxed. That's why I always say to people, if you have a goal, be careful who you share it with. Your goal is your goal. You don't go and water it out. You know, it's like watering a garden, all the water around all the plants. And then it just all drains away. All the energy and the water in the watering can, we'll say, is gone. It's like that's why people have groups that meet together to support each other in the groups. Oh gosh, I can't, the name just, I know I belong to one for a long time and someone will know that, what those are called. But they help you define and they're there to support you. And usually it's associated with a form of prayer or a form of thinking that is a positive affirmational group. And they're there to help you, each other, actually. It's not there to help you. You're all there together to help consolidate those ideas, to allow the miracles of life to occur through thinking, through awareness, and prayer is thought. So, but then, you know, they have to tag this in a little bit because the 10 shows you're close to the goal and you can't see it. This is the worry card. This is the worry because it's not there. It's not where it's supposed to be. It's different. It looks different. It feels different. Is it going to work? And so you lose sight of your goal. You lose sight of it often. The truth is you've already achieved it. You achieved it back and you achieved it in 9. That's the ending. Nine's always the ending number. 10 is the new beginning. But what do you do and how you move with that is really important. Just a second again. Now, in a tarot pack, with each suit, you have the four what we call court cards, and I see them as attitudes. These are the attitudes you have to your life. So here we have the page. The page is really the thinker. Think, 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 think. But what if you look, I'm trying to hold that up there. He's looking at this top part here. He's not seeing the whole picture. He's also got a little red feather. His knowledge base is a little tiny. Also on his cloak, they have a tail and a mouth that's supposed to be end, which helps hold the energy, and a lot of them aren't. So this is again like the beginning of thinking, like number two, and even maybe number three. But this is the beginning of that. Although the Knight, which comes next, is really more of a number three. This is putting your ideas into action. You know, some people procrastinate forever. And now I know many a time in my life I've had an idea and I procrastinated on it and I've let it go, which I have the perfect, I was going to say, right to do at times. And I'm glad. Other times I wished I hadn't procrastinated on certain ideas. The Knight, though, this Knight is in action. He is going after what he wants. And if you want to draw on a Knight energy, this is a good one to draw on if you have a plan. He has more with the tails and the mouth, so he has more control. He's got a good, I don't know a lot about horse riding, but he's got a good hold on the reins while he holds his wand. And if I remember the wand here, yeah, it's on the right side, which is movement forward. So there's all that moving. And to me, he's a Knight which is proceeding and has a good chance of getting and achieving what he wants to do, for sure. It's one of the ones I really like. Now, the Queen of Wands is very much me. So I'm talking about myself here. She has her wand sitting on the base of her throne. It does not touch the earth. She has her looking is going to the left where she holds a sunflower. And in between, on the ground, sits the little black cat. Emotion. Took me years to understand this symbol, mainly because what I did. I would sit, I would have these ideas, and then my emotion, my fear of not making it work, not being great, whatever, sometimes would take over. Luckily, not all the time. So I did do a lot of great things and had a great time in doing that. Her back, because this is the ones with the sun seems to play quite a part. The lions are there, the sunflower, but she's looking away from her thought. And that black cat down there is the key. Your emotions. What are you doing with your emotions? Of course, that's the next suit, which is the cups, which it seems like I'm going to go through them next week. So that would be a good thing to do. So it's how you handle those emotions in relations to your thinking. Are you undermining yourself? Are you not believing in what you can do? I always say, if you think it, you can do it. But then there's steps to getting it done. I mean, it's like, just because I thought it's not here right now. You have to contemplate often. Where do I put it? How does that work? Where does that fit in? How does that come together? And then, of course, the king. Now, the king is the king. And if you look on my finger, is actually, I'll move it away. That wand reaches the ground. It's not on the side of the throne. It's on the ground. And he's looking out. Now, it took me a lot of years to figure this king out and to recognize he fits into the procrastination station of things. He's got all these ideas. They're there. He can see them, but he doesn't seem to move. He looks at them. And there are three major attitude cards around procrastination that I've depicted. Queen of Cups, this one, and the Page of Pentacles. Definite procrastinational symbols. And they often come together. Interesting? Yes. because it's your mind, how your mind sees things, foresees things, and knows things. So often when we have this, I'm looking around, seeing what other symbols are around to support this. Does it have action? Because it needs a little bit of a push sometimes. Does he have, or is there other procrastinational type symbols around? Because he can procrastinate. So one of the things I love about the wand symbols, just pulling them up here, is that it gives you a wide variety of how your thinking can work. Still, the first four symbols is the big key. You think the thought, you contemplate the thought, you project the thought, and you reap the reward of the thought. In other words, it manifests. That's the rest of it is complication getting in the way, trying to straighten things out to get there because we've complicated it. So what you're thinking, people, I don't hear a lot, or maybe I'm not listening at the right places, maybe, but a lot where people are talking about know your thoughts, know how you think. Are you thinking like you usually think? And if you're not happy with where you are, then you want to change those thoughts. Now, I will give you a tip that again, if we talk about the freeze, evaporate, replace, I'm going to go over that because to me, that is the most significant way to change a vibration. What you're thinking when you have a thought that you don't really 100% support. You freeze it, you evaporate it, you replace it. F-E-R. That's all you have to do. But it takes a little bit of command to do that. It takes a little bit of command in the direction of where you're heading and where you're going. But everything starts with a thought. Nothing is produced without a thought. A creative thought, maybe, a reactive thought. Nothing. Everything begins with a thought because it has to manifest. And it's through the manifestation that we see the differences and we see the different things that come together. And we begin to realize, oh, yeah, I blocked myself there. I stopped myself there. When I look back years later at some opportunities I had and then realized because I ran into fear, I didn't follow them through. Yes, I had other opportunities, which I grabbed both ways. But often when it was that one that would step off the edge and be something a little different than what I was used to, I would back away. I recommend people don't necessarily back away. It's better to go forward and then say, no, this is not for me, and back out. But there is, I was given lots of opportunities in my life, and most of them I took because they fitted in my wheelhouse. But those ones that didn't quite fit in my wheelhouse, I didn't stretch at the time. And so, and like all things, you don't live in regret. You just forgive yourself and move on and realize, yeah, that's what we tend to do. So if you are into tarot at all, look at the wand symbology coming up as you're thinking. How are you thinking? How does it relate to the symbology? Because they do intertwine. They do come in, and that's why we have readings and see the bigger picture of life and know what's happening and what's going on. So that, I believe, as I have another sip of water because my mouth is really dry at the moment, is that will be my talk for today. But I do want to say hi to Yvonne, and I just love her comment, which she says, love this. Thank you so very much, Norma. Yes, I love my comments, that's for sure. Well, I sit here and, the days are gone by when I was busy in and out. Things have changed a lot in the last several years, as everybody knows. But so the comments to me is what warms my heart, is what reminds me, yeah, keep going, Cowie girl, because, otherwise I'd be sitting here by myself and rather than looking, oh, it's Wednesday morning, I've got to get ready, I've got to do this, I've got to do that and do the other. Life is good. I want you to enjoy it. And I want you also to spend a little bit of time watching how your thinking works. Become aware. Sit back in your chair. I used to do this a lot watching television, but I watch my thoughts go across my little ticker top up here. What am I thinking? What's actually going on there? What's happening? And often I got lazy, and usually then you have some crisis that brings you back really fast into the reality of the life. So Thanks a lot. Just want to thank everybody. I see that a new subscriber came in. Appreciate that. Thank you. Also, remember your likes and your shares and all those lovely things that really help me stay on my channel. I have, I'm laughing because my son set me up with a whole new thing for shorts. And of course, he left and went home. And without setting it he got me this thing. He said, Mom, try this. This will be better. And I haven't been able to use it since because my arm and hand went nuts. So here we are. But I'm waiting to get back into practicing shorts because really it is. And I realize all the mistakes I made, which is what it was about, So, and I always want to get those little pieces of info out there because many, many more people listen and watch those, I noticed. But thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being there. Comments, subscriptions, whatever else. And the chat room is always there. I'll be back on Sunday morning with a Sunday thought. You take care of yourself. Enjoy, mostly. Not take too care. Enjoy the life. Be adventurous. Go and have fun. Bye now.